Hello Gemini, Amanda here. Welcome to Unseen Hands Healing. This is going to be your January 2020 shift reading. So we're looking at the shape you're shifting out of, the shape you're shifting into this month, and what that shift looks and feels like for you. So Gemini, before we get into cards, as I was meditating on your energy, I felt two things. First, I felt a sense of something wriggling free. It was really interesting. Like my knees wanted to knock together. I was like, why are my knees knocking together? And then I realized it was because I needed to sort of contract in order to like wriggle out of something. Like it felt like this like squeezed tight sort of passage or tight box or like something around me, and I had to like wriggle out of it, and I needed to contract and become smaller in order to wriggle free of that. The second image I got was actually you retracting your claws from something, like retracting the claws. It was very particular. It was like a cat, the image of the way a cat retracts their claws, retracting your claws from something. And I felt energy of like letting something go, letting something, like retracting your claws from the situation so that it could just play out however it would play out, or like releasing your grip on something. It was very much like a release, like the claws were out and all of a sudden it was like disconnected and retracted. It was like that, which is sort of congruent with like releasing something to wriggle free. It's like something else is wriggling free from your grip, and I believe you are also, because you are releasing your grip, able to wriggle free. There's something about wriggling free, retracting claws. Interesting. So then let's look at your cards. So I've actually already pre-pulled. I'm doing that for these readings to save your time and mine. I know that some of you really enjoy watching the shuffle. I enjoy doing the shuffle and living that experience right along with you. And so if you're still looking for that experience, don't worry, that will be there in the extended readings for those of you who are patrons, okay? But I wanted to do this to save time, but I also wanted to do this so that I could really sit with the full energy of the reading and like get breathe in the full essence of this message before sharing it with you. I'm gonna try it out and see how it feels for me to do it like that. So we're starting with the shape you're shifting out of, Gemini. You're shifting out of the Four of Swords. And you're shifting into the Ten of Swords. So your shape shift this January looks like this. You're going from sort of pensively, I see this, especially today, I'm seeing this card as like taking space from something, taking space, sleeping perhaps a bit fraught, like sleeping under the Three of Swords. The Three of Swords in the tarot represents like heart pain, pain in the heart, betrayal, whatever that is. It's like sleeping underneath of that, and you're sleeping not really with one eye open, but it sort of does feel that way. It feels like, this person like has their hand, like they're sleeping almost with their head in their hand like this, just like, ooh. And they've got this sword in bed with them. So it's like, you're not exactly, this does not feel like a relaxing respite of a Four of Swords for me. It feels more like you're kind of, toiling over something that has happened mentally. Like it's like you're processing something in your sleep is what it feels like. It's like you're moving out of maybe taking space and processing something painful in your sleep to then like actually bringing an end to something. The Ten of Swords, as you can see here, this is a major ending. This is like, once this person, whatever this is not getting back up with all those swords in it. And it has something to do, I'm seeing this like this void of space and then these like planets shifting into alignment. This is speaking to me of the Saturn-Pluto conjunction. Big time. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, follow me on Patreon, where I will talk much more at length about that huge transit. I'm not going to get into it here, but basically it's like the heavies of the planets, of the astrological energies coming together and meeting for the first time in 30 some years. So it's kind of a big deal, and it's happening this January in the middle of the month. And so I'm really feeling that with that shift, with those planets coming into alignment, and this has been building, my goodness, all fall, but especially this winter. So you've been feeling it November, December, leading up to January. It's like whatever that is, just like finally brings this, whatever it is that your subconscious has been working through, really brings it to an end, brings it to a final close. This is the 10 of Swords. This is the closing of a whole cycle. The closing of a whole cycle. And what I want to say is the shift in a subconscious structure for you, Gemini, which is really, that is specific. That's never something I've channeled through the Four of Swords before, but it actually makes a lot of sense because swords talk about consciousness. The Four of Swords is all about, the fours are all about structure, and we are entering 2020, which is number 4 year numerologically. So 2020 is all about structure. And here we have you shifting out of some kind of conscious or subconscious, I think subconscious, mental structure, and really bringing that to an end. Now, what does that shift look like for you? Well, why don't I show you? Okay. It looks like the Two of Swords, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Lovers. And now the cards did come out like this, with the Two of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. It seems to me like something has been sort of sitting on the fence for a moment, and you're ready to make a choice to bring that's going to bring like a larger mental cycle for you to an end. I'm seeing this Two of Swords, Knight of Coins, excuse me, Knight of Pentacles. The Two of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, I'm seeing this actually as like you and a person in your life. This person is this like hungry wolf of a person. See that? Like this hungry wolf, earth energy, and they're looking over at you, but they have a lot of things in their hands. They've got this shield, they've got this like staff sword thing that they're carrying. There's a sword in their sheath. They've got all this armor, and they are like still, they're frozen like a statue. It's like they're hungry for you, but they're not making any moves towards you. They are stuck in their ways. They are stuck wherever they are, carrying too much stuff. Pardon me, they're stuck in the earth, stuck in the mud. Okay, you know, I'm just seeing like all of these layers of earth here. We've got like the crust of the earth and the mountains. They are stuck in whatever place they are in. And even though their energy is hungry like the wolf, the rest of them is not reflecting that. The rest of them is not reflecting like the pursuit of a wolf or the litheness of a wolf. Their energy is tied up elsewhere, frozen in the crust of the earth elsewhere. Because I see the Knight of Coins as like a statue. See how their feet are cemented in place? Maybe they've just got like this really firm stance or like something. They're not moving towards you. And I think you can kind of feel that, which is why you've got your swords up, you know, with the swords crossed over the heart. There's a certain amount of like defense mechanism coming into play, a certain amount of self-protection happening here for you, where you're really kind of on the fence as to whether you should like let this person into your energy, let this person into your heart, which is why you're taking this stance here where, you know, sometimes this is a card of indecision, a card of like not knowing which way to go. But I would say like what I'm getting from this is as you are not quite sure which way to go with this relationship, you are keeping it at bay and keeping your heart protected in order to suss out where this is going or what if this is right for you before you continue. And so with the card, both of these cards coming out in reversed, actually what I was getting is that like you've been in this energy with this Knight of Coins, Earth energy. It's like that Earth energy perhaps has had you kind of all up in your head, tossing and turning, subconsciously processing at night, and has had you sort of in this place of feeling a bit stuck, feeling a bit blocked because of how stuck this person is maybe. And I think it feels to me like you're ready to wriggle free, to go back to the imagery that came through. It's like you're ready to retract the claws and perhaps allow this person to wriggle free and allow yourself to wriggle free, because there's a choice, a very clear choice that is made here in January. Perhaps in January, you know, like everybody is at a different place with this energy. Maybe you're still very much here, you know, or maybe you're here and you're like ready to make this choice, raring to go. Okay, so take it how it resonates for you in your particular timeline that's playing out. But here in the Lovers card, we see these two people flushed with pink, you know, perhaps post-coitally, you know, like lying in repose, flushed with desire, you know, the fulfillment of desire that has recently come between them. It definitely feels sexual to me. Like there's clearly really strong sexual chemistry between these two, like the hungry like a wolf and the indecision. By the way, this doesn't have to be a person in your life. These could be representing two energies in you. The part of you that's like really hungry like the wolf, but feels like you're not sure and needs to kind of keep yourself protected, and like you're really rooting yourself to one place. Either way, these are energies. Both of these energies are not moving forward. And so somebody makes the choice, and I think it's you, Gemini. I think it's you. I think you make a call. You make a judgment call about the nature, perhaps the sexual nature of this relationship, or the nature of this relationship in general, and the way, specifically the way that it plays upon your consciousness and your subconscious. I think like listening to your dreams would be a really, really potent thing to do, because perhaps your dreams are directing you as to how this person affects your subconscious. You know, like, is this person having a positive effect on your subconscious? I'm not saying that every dream is to be taken literally. You know, I think most dreams are metaphorical, and many dreams are stress dreams. And it is sometimes hard to tell the difference between a dream that's sending you a really strong, potent message and a dream that is just like your anxiety is playing out. Okay, so it's difficult to suss through that, but I think it's a worthy endeavor for you, or perhaps an endeavor that you have already been going through, since this is the shape you're shifting out of. And I think perhaps your subconscious has really illuminated some things for you, taking this distance in this space, and you're ready to make a verdict on this. You're ready to make a choice. It's interesting too, because the Lovers card is the number 6 in the major arcana. Its associated card is number 15, because 5 plus 1 is 6. All right, so its associated card number 15 is the Devil. The Devil energy is all about liberation. It's about liberating yourself from things that keep you bound, from things that keep you held back. And that's this energy that's here. It's like something is frozen in time. Two people perhaps are frozen because of this situation and wanting to, and if something is going to move forward, there needs to be a release, a retraction, a liberation. Contracting in order to release, contracting in order to wriggle free. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing, this choice being made with the Lovers here. It's like perhaps you get some help from Cupid's arrows, you know, like perhaps you get a little help from the gods here coming in and giving you the clarity to know what to do. It's like the arrow is pointing on this person, and then this person is reaching for this crystal ball over here. It's like they're reaching out and making a choice. And whatever that choice is brings an ending to a much larger cycle for you, Gemini, a much larger mental cycle for you that has to do with this subconscious processing. So like coming full circle here, this is your shift. You're shifting out of this way of being in relationship with your own conscious and unconscious processing, and because you are ending, you are putting an end, you're making a choice to end something that is robbing you of your subconscious peace and perhaps conscious peace. You're ready to approach relationships, perhaps romantic relationships especially. This does not have to be about romance, but I am getting that vibe. You're ready to approach your relationships with a different state of consciousness and I think that shift feels like a huge ending of like a cycle that has been happening for a really long time for you, which makes sense because we are entering a decade. You know, we are quite literally closing a 10-year cycle and beginning a new one. And here's the 10 of Swords. When you go 1 to 10 in the tarot, 10 is the end. So yeah, it's the end of the decade. It's the end of an era for your way of mentally processing things here, and you're starting a whole new era. The old ways of being in relationship and the old ways of being in consciousness for you, Gemini, are ending, not to be revived. And I think it has something major to do with that Saturn and Pluto conjunction. So I would encourage you to take a look at where that is happening in your chart at 21, 22 Capricorn. See what's there. You know, what is it hitting in your chart? And if you're not sure, please get in touch with me. Okay, I can point you in the right direction there. / follow me on Patreon and you'll learn a lot more about it. So now we're coming over to the postcards from the liminal space. Let's get a little oracle guidance for you here in January, Gemini. I just saw break the cycle. At the bottom of the deck, exactly, break the cycle. You're breaking the cycle. It's true, because the 10 in the tarot in the major arcana is the wheel of fortune, the cycle. You're breaking the cycle. You're making a choice that's going to create a pretty big change in your life here. And perhaps this could also be talking about like intergenerational cycles, like cycles of generational trauma that have been playing out mentally for you, or like generational patterning at least, that's like in your DNA, you know, that has been playing out mentally for you for what feels like at least a decade, probably longer. And you're ready to break that cycle. Now's the time. We're shifting into a whole new decade, and it's time to break the cycle. Okay, so we'll take that. Let's see what else wants to come out for you, Gemini. Anything else for Gemini here in January 2020? Anything else for Gemini? Oh, we had a flip. Snake medicine. Yes, very, very powerful. So this is talking, for me, this is talking about this idea of like anti-venom, you know, of homeopathy. Like the venom of the snake is actually how you immunize yourself against the snake. There's something here about, like you've got this shelf full of medicines, full of remedies, herbs, tinctures. You know, herbs are drying, they're steeping, they're fermenting. There's all of these things, remedies that you can reach for that are perhaps helping this process for you of becoming immune to the snake's venom. Whatever that is for you, maybe this kind of person or this specific person is representative of the snake's venom for you, and you are working on inoculating yourself through like whatever forms of self-care you are doing, and whatever forms of like therapy or medicines or whatever it is that you are working with to break this cycle. I think you're working with something very potent and you're working very consciously, and that's affecting you subconsciously to do this. Or whether the snake, perhaps if it's not associated with a specific person or people for you or type of person, it could be that the snake medicine, the snake venom that you are using to inoculate yourself from that very venom is like you're inoculating yourself from these cycles, these mental cycles. Like that's what you're breaking. These mental structures, shifting in conscious and subconscious structures. I think on levels that are even bigger than you could possibly like consciously wrap your mind around at this time. Feels really, really, really big, Gemini, really big. Okay, so I'm going to take this into a special extended reading. Not only am I going to grab some clarity cards and clarify the energy that came through for your January shift, but I'm also, because we are shifting into a new year and a new decade, I'm gonna do something a little extra special at the end of the extended reading. I'm gonna go into a quarterly overview of your wheel of the year. We're just looking at the 4 quarters, okay? The first quarter of 2020, the second, the third, and the fourth. And we're going to draw a card for each and really get an idea of the energies that the year 2020 is bringing towards you. Okay, so if that's something that you are interested in, stick around. I'll put a little preview at the end of this reading for you to see if it's resonating. If it is, click the link in the description box below. That's going to take you over to my Patreon community. This is a place where people who have followed my channel for a little while now on Instagram and on YouTube and are enjoying the work that I'm putting out and are interested in working with it deeper can join over on Patreon, okay? And from there, you can read the full description on that page to learn all about how it works and how you can receive your extended reading from there. Okay. All right, my friends, Gemini, thank you so much for watching, for tuning in. Happy New Year. Perhaps I'll see you over on Patreon. And if not, regardless, have a good, beautiful January start to this new decade. Allow your full fire to come out, your full passion and the fullness of who you are. Because this lion, Leo energy is all about expressing yourself authentically and being able to feel like you can be fully who you are. And so there's something about this dynamic with this Knight of Coins. This person that is like very stuck in their ways or stuck in the earth that keeps your full expression of self behind bars in some kind of way. And I think you're ready to liberate from this frozen energy. I don't think that you've necessarily associated, like this might be true for some of you, that you haven't necessarily associated that caged feeling with this person until now, but that's starting to become true, that you're realizing, oh, it's actually them. Like it's actually this person that's contributing to me not feeling comfortable enough to like fully let myself out. Or like if it's not a person, it's like this type of person, this type of dynamic in my life.